Welcome. We're so excited to have you here on another episode of Bridging the Gap. We're here with Jay Rowell of Hire 360. We're so excited to have him here with us. You can introduce yourself, Jay. I guess I already told your name, but you can tell us your role and kind of what you do at Hire 360.
Sure. Well, first off, thank you so much for inviting us and having us on the podcast. It's nice to be talking with you today. My name is Jay Rowell. I'm Executive Director of Hire 360.
We just want to talk today kind of about the trades, about our partnership, about what we do, the good, bad, the ugly, maybe, some of what we've experienced in our partnership as far as the trades and building that. So if you want to speak to our partnership and how that began.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So, Hire 360 is a partnership with some of the largest developers, trade unions, and general contractors, originally in the Chicagoland area. And we were fortunate to bid on a great program offered through the state of Illinois under the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act for the Climate Works Pre-Apprenticeship program. So as part of that, we worked with partners all across the state of Illinois who are interested in doing training and recruiting people who are really interested in opportunities in the construction trades to work with us on this application, and we were successful. So we were lucky enough to be able to partner with the Awaken Foundation on this opportunity. And, the grant really focuses on recruiting candidates from both cannabis justice, environmental justice areas, and helping prepare them and giving them the skills that they need to be successful in the construction and building trades.
Yeah, and that's super important for us because it's that preparation that is kind of the key to building that bridge between those opportunities and being successful in those opportunities. Like, we can get them in those spaces, but if we're not properly training them for them, then we're doing them a disjustice. And in the end of the day, we want them to be successful. Their success is our success. And so it's great to have these programs that are structured so that we can get that learning and that education that they do need.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. And I think that's one of the unique things about this program. So the state of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, Speaker Welch, Senate President Harmon, and a number of the caucuses in Springfield have really been very intentional about how they lay out programming like this to support people. So it is an 8-week course, 8 or 9 weeks, roughly a little under 200 hours. And it's built on the North American Building Trades Union's curriculum to help people get ready for apprenticeship. So there's a lot of math, a lot of spatial reasoning, a lot of components that will help candidates pass the aptitude test that the vast majority of the trades have, as well as a lot of exposure to construction. Because not every school is teaching people about careers in construction. You may not know someone who works in construction. So bringing an individual out, seeing an apprenticeship program and the amazing schooling that you get there, as well as going out and checking out a construction site, right? So this program kind of offers all of that. And I think most importantly, it has a paid stipend. I know most of us, I certainly can't go 8 or 9 weeks without getting paid, right? People need that. And so this program includes a stipend to help candidates so they can earn while they're learning and getting ready for an apprenticeship program.
Yeah, I love to highlight those two things, that it's 8 or 9 weeks, which is quick, but speaking to that support, that's long enough to go under. Like, I don't expect people to not have a job in that amount of time. So I love the fact that we get a chance to come beside them and support them with those resources. Let's switch gears really quick and talk about kind of where do you feel like the trades are today?
Yeah, I mean, this is a complicated question that you asked, and a good one. So you read a lot that there is a shortage of construction workers, which there absolutely is, both here in Illinois and nationally. But, that shortage is a lot on the non-union side. There is a lot of competition to get into a construction union. And that's because of the great pay and benefits that are offered by those opportunities. And increasingly, you're seeing a whole number of the different trades locals having 45, 50% of the applicants be someone who has a 4-year college degree. So there is a lot of competition for these opportunities and these roles. And that's, again, why I think this partnership that we have is so important. on preparing people for those opportunities, right? So, we help people apply for the different trade programs. We prepare them for the aptitude tests, and help with a lot of the soft skills and other components so they can be successful once they get into the trades. But I mean, it's kind of a misnomer out there that right, like anybody can just show up today and start working in construction. For the unionized construction, where there's just a lot of great training, a lot of great opportunities, those are really sought after positions.
Yeah, very high volume, and as much as there's a need for it, they are specific. They can be specific, and so again, glad for these programs because a chance to reach to both sides and say, for the employers, what is it exactly that you want? So what are the things that you need us to be training them in? What are the things that you feel like applicants are coming in deficient in? What are the ways we can come aside and just kind of supplement that? And I know soft skills was a really big one. Like you said, math, which is heavy in the program. Math is a really big one. And just passing those aptitude tests. I know for the population that we have that are coming straight out of high school, they're still used to schooling because they've been in school, they've been testing. But you come out of school 3, 4, 5, or longer years, you can get kind of really out of practice. And it's as much as training your mental and, as far as, getting back and used to schooling, used to the testing so that aptitude test isn't this very big, anxious thing for you that you feel prepared.
Totally. And I mean, most people know how to do this math, right? It's a lot of fractions and tape measures. I think a lot of what this training focuses on is just as you said, right? Like getting people, back in the groove of doing it and being able to do it quickly enough, right? To get because these are largely timed tests, to get it done quickly enough, right? And I think unlike a lot of tests to get into school or whatever else where, the test has really nothing to do with what you learn in the school and, what you have to, maybe pass to, get a license or whatever. It doesn't really have much to do on the day-to-day of what you do. Like this is a lot of the math and stuff that people do on a construction site every single day. It's using a tape measure, make sure you're putting things in the right place, doing fractions so that way, right, same thing, you're getting these things right because it's super important. And so many of the components today in construction are pre-measured, pre-formatted, and so everything's got to line up for it all to work. And so this is really applicable to what you're doing as well.
What would you like to see as far as the trade? So we kind of know where we are somewhat. It's very hard to tag down exactly, but we know kind of where we're standing. What would you like to see in the next, let's say short term, next year, and then maybe midterm, next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I think, particularly for this program, right, the Climate Works Pre-Apprenticeship program. So it's really designed to get people onto some of these solar developments. Wind, I've got a solar wind turbine, right behind me, right? And so that's really what this program is geared to. So I think, there's a lot of uncertainty right now because of the passage of some federal legislation that took away some of the solar and wind incentives. And so I think it's a little unclear on what those impacts will be. I know a lot of our developer partners are rushing to get shovels in the ground before some of those incentives go away. But at the same time, the governor and the legislature really intentionally put components of the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act in for state funding, state support, state incentives to get more green energy projects in Illinois. So it could also be the case here that a little bit further over the horizon that Illinois becomes the most attractive place to do a lot of these projects because of those incentives. And speaking of incentives, right, there are requirements on contractors and incentives for contractors to hire people who graduate from the Climate Works Pre-Apprenticeship program. So it's really woven into this that equity eligible people, so people who live in a cannabis justice and environmental justice area, have some level of justice involvement, or we're in the foster care system. There's a lot of incentives for contractors to hire those people on these different projects. And I'm sure there's probably many of the listeners right now going like, well, how do I know I live in a cannabis or environmental justice area, right? Fill out the application on Hire 360's website and we will tell you. We've got that all figured out, and then we can let partners like Awaken know that these are good candidates that meet the requirements for the program. So really urge people to take a look at these opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some great opportunities, and we're always trying to push that. And that's the reason why we're even using platforms like this, so that when people are looking in and figuring out, where are these things, where are these opportunities on both sides for the contractors and for people who are looking for employment, where are these opportunities at? And so in this year, we're looking to really push that platform to make sure that we're getting that word out as much as possible. And kind of in that same tone, what is something you feel like you would share that isn't known as much that you would like to be known more?
Yeah, I think the apprenticeship schools are kind of not that well known out there. And I don't think a lot of people know the process to get into the trades and what happens, right? And so a lot of people and a lot of school systems push college, 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 which may not be the right choice for everyone. In college, right, you got to pay for. I ran up a lot of debt going to school, and then you got to pay that off, right? And the apprenticeship programs are very different. The vast majority of them pay you to go to school, and then you are earning while you are learning as an apprentice. And I think it's a phenomenal, especially for individuals who may not have the resources to go to traditional schooling. Here's an opportunity, and like I said before, I mean, they are very competitive opportunities, but here's an opportunity to get paid while you are learning a craft, right? And so I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't know, that there needs to be much more awareness of.
Yeah, that's one of the things we always push is that it's not an either or thing, because even with the trades, once you're inside, there are opportunities sometimes to get further education, whether it's in non-traditional learning or actually from the traditional approach where, you might be going into admin or to, business or, other areas like that to kind of put together a full package. This day, we kind of need more of both sides. So you need to be able to do some of the hands-on work, but it does help also to have some of that education.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Hire 360 also has a pretty robust contractor program as well. And so we're scaling up a lot of community contractors. And, most of the people who are running those businesses are someone who worked in the field in one of the trades, right? And then they know how to work a job. They know how to do some of the estimating and other components, and we help them with the business components. So there's also not only a path to more formal education where you could work as a supervisor or other roles, right? There's also opportunities here to create your own construction firm, which is a great way to real wealth generation in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is kind of the goal, is to let communities kind of build themselves, because if you get those people that are in those places and then you're contracting them and working in those places, now you're getting the chance to build back your own community, and now we can build that effect and see that impact right there, because you start that and then now we all see it, and then that's the easiest way to drive up that traffic, is seeing that success and seeing that if you put the work in, if you commit to the program, that there is something on the other side of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a real good point, right? Like, these are hard jobs. You got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get out in the construction site, right? There's a lot of physical labor involved in this. There's a lot of mental work on this, and you do it rain, sunshine, no matter how hot or cold in many circumstances. So this is tough, but it's really rewarding work to see what you've accomplished, like in a very tangible way. And great pay, great benefits, and a whole bunch of different career paths, as we were just discussing out of this.
Yeah. Can you discuss some of those career paths as far as clean energy? I know sometimes when people hear clean energy, they're kind of confused as to how that translates into construction. Can you give like some examples of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in particular, a lot of the work that we're doing is helping get people geared up to be, on solar projects. So there's, often jobs for laborers, carpenters, electricians, operating engineers. So there's a lot of work in terms of racking and actually putting physical panels in spots, electrical work, tying them all in, getting them back connected to the grid. And a lot of these components have foundations to them, so you got to do a lot of earth moving, which is what operating engineers really focus on. So there's a lot of opportunities just in solar and a whole variety of different trades. And wind farms, similarly, there's a lot of metal fabrication components, welding components, a lot of different trades involved in that. But I think one of the great things about getting into a trade union, it doesn't just teach you the skills to rack solar panels, right? You're part of the carpenters or the laborers union, where you'll learn a whole variety of other skills. So you can go out and work on building a high rise, building bridges, with a lot of concrete formation. So there's a lot of different skill sets that you learn. And so that way, if there is a downturn in solar, right, there's other opportunities for you. And I think that's really one of the unique things about the unionized construction industry, right? You're not just learning how to be a residential solar roof installer. And so if those incentives go, then so does your job opportunity. You have a wide variety of skills, so you can work on a number of projects.
Yeah, and that's super important because we know projects end, and sometimes you got to have that work. If you don't have work, again, you're not getting paid, and it's about that consistency. We can transition people into one job, or and if that job ends, now we're back in the same state we were in. So it's good to have that flexibility and learn those multiple jobs, and we kind of teach that on the front end, kind of as an expectation. Being flexible. There's so many different options, but you don't know what's going to happen. Some unions, they open certain times a year. Some only have certain slots that are open. So there's a lot of different opportunities, but you have to be open to them and have to be willing, to take maybe your second option or take your third option and work it out and see how it goes. And then, see when it opens and see what's going on. Like you said, you might come into it doing some desk work and then doing labor work and then moving into different departments. And it's just, piecing together that journey until you get into that solid space.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So is there anything else you want to leave with the people before we sign off?
Check this out, right? Talk to Awaken. Go to our website at www.hire360chicago.com and take a look at what those opportunities are. And they're all statewide. There's a workforce tab. Go and drop down on that and take a look. These are great opportunities. I mean, the union construction trades pay really well, have some of the best healthcare out there, and there is a lot of demand for people to do this work. And so, and there's a real path here, right? And we already talked about this. There's stipends to help people while they're going through the training components. The training components are designed by the North American Building Trades Unions to really help get people in the spot that they need to be to pass the aptitude test, get into a trade, and be successful once they're there, right? But it's hard, skilled work, and it often takes a minute to get in because they run different classes, kind of like college, right? It only starts in the fall. The trades open at different times when there's demand from the contractors. So you got to be a little bit patient here, but this is a road to just great opportunities.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. And for all your work that you're doing in our partnership and in other places. Again, hire360.com, Awaken Foundation, L3C.com. You can find us on Facebook as well at the same thing, Awaken Foundation, L3C. Thank you again, Jay Rowell. I'm Quentin Thomas, your host. Thank you again for joining us on Bridging the Gap.
I really appreciate the opportunity. It's nice being with you today, Quentin. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for spending time with us here on Awaken, Building Bridges, Bridging the Gap. We hope today's conversations inspired you and gave you a new perspective on trades and the people behind them.
And before we wrap up, we want to thank our sponsors for truly making this possible. We'd like to thank CEJA, leading the way in clean energy opportunities, Climate Works, powering careers and sustainability, and the Illinois Tollway for investing in infrastructure and workforce pathways. Their support allows us to keep these conversations going and speak to viewers like you.
Until next time, keep building purpose through the trades.
And keep building bridges in your own community.